It's 12th August and it's the most, what can I say, special day of the year for me. It's my New Year's Day. So as you all wait for 1st January, I wait for 12th August. Yes, it's my birthday like I promised you, and I'm so happy to have the privilege at 35 to celebrate my birthday with people all over the world. I told you the class goes to up to 22 countries. Can you imagine how it is nice that I get to be, celebrating my life with all of you and being useful to you? It's not about me today. I invited an amazing woman, Mrs. Victoria Sekitoleko, but she's honorable. She's the former Minister of Agriculture in our country, and she has traveled the world. She's a mother, she's a grandmother, and she's retired but not tired. You will get to know more about her as we get into the class. But before that, I want to give you an insight. Our subject today is about age and personal image. Between the age of 0 and 14, you are a child. From 15 to 24, you are a youth. From 24 to 64, you're actually an adult. So you that are between 24 and 30 and think you're young people, you're youth, no, you're not. You are an adult. Then from the age of 65 onwards, you're actually a senior. We are very privileged to welcome and talk and have a conversation and learn from someone who almost has 7 decades on her shoulders. So why not dive into that knowledge and wisdom, and we'll catch you later. Like I said earlier, today is a special day in Lois coaching class, and we're going to be discussing a wonderful topic, age and personal image. I told you that I'm having Honorable Victoria Sekitoleko with me, and I know you can see her in her magnificence. I don't only call her Honorable, but I call her Mama. Mama, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Living from the 50s through the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s, now here we are. There is a lot of lessons and principles that have guided you to not only be a woman of integrity, but also to age gracefully.
Thank you.
And that's what we're here to do today, to pick some of those nice, amazing tips from you. But before we do that, can you say hello to the class members, the students of life in Lois coaching class?
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening from wherever you are. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Very nice. So, Mama, without saying so much, age and personal image. When we're in our 20s, we feel like, from the age of adolescence, we have it, we are beautiful, we have these nice bodies, and then 30 comes up, things start to change. Probably we have a few babies, physical body not looking as pretty as before. We get into 40 and 50. How does that impact someone's self-esteem?
First of all, one's image does not depend on appearance. Mm-hmm. It's the sum total of who you are. Mm-hmm. 2, I know women whose dream was to have children, very beautiful women who cannot have children. Mm-hmm. They would definitely trade in that beautiful figure for a balloon of their stomach. So, for me, I wouldn't think about image depending on the appearance. Mm-hmm. That's 1. 2, aging, it's not like one day you are, jumping, and then the second day you are sitting. Jump. Yeah. It just creeps slowly but surely, and eventually you get there. I'll share something which surprised me and my sister. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I'm now in my 7th decade. But after my birthday this year, as I was doing my breast checkup for cancer, I realized that my breast was no longer as fleshy and as full and as firm as it has always been. So I called my elder sister and said, my breast is falling. So she called back and said, Victoria, you mean your breast has been up all this time? It's supposed to have fallen like 50 years ago. I'm like, no. Even after I breastfed, my breast was full and firm. So that day, honestly, after that conversation, I sat back and felt very sorry for women whose breasts, at 20 or 25,
they were already sagged,
I'm like, how? But that is when you appreciate yourself. So, for example, if anybody sees me and maybe sees a few wrinkles in my face, they don't know that I'm happy with the rest
them.
of my the rest of my body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And that actually makes you feel good. And
Exactly.
you feel so nice being in the 7th decade, and yet you're still, looking nice. And then the other thing, like you said, it's not only the outward part. We always teach that in Lois coaching class, that is from the inside out, someone's image. So self-esteem, I think also, Mama, what you have been doing with your life gives you that confidence to say it's worth it. Being 70, it's completely worth it. Many people lose it between, especially when it comes to how you spent your earlier years.
Yeah.
Imagine we wouldn't be having this conversation. How would you even have been honorable?
If I had done things differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So everyone watching in class, I know that you are picking something from Mama. Mama, the next thing I want us to talk about is how can someone what are the health essentials, very important health precautions a person, let's say between the age of 35 and 45 or 35 and above, needs to do, not only as a woman, but as a man as well?
Lord, when we talk about health, it's not just that you don't have a headache or you don't have a stomachache. We are talking about the total person. And if you are 35, we are talking about the state in which you are now. This would definitely depend on the choices you have been making throughout. If, for example, you turn 21 and the following day you are pregnant, and maybe by now you are a mother of about 5, certainly that will have taken a big toll on your health.
Yes.
At the same time, if let's say you were supposed to be in school, and for some reason you flunked a few classes, and now you are no longer in school, neither are you employed or doing a business, that is definitely going to impact your
psychology, mental health,
but mostly the social. Because here we have a tendency to ask, oh, how are you doing? And what are you doing now?
How is it going?
Exactly. It does not look like we are being inquisitive because it is normal. But after 1, 2, 3, 5 years of saying, they're just there, I'm just there, it starts getting really irritating. And in the process, even your psychological outlook, behavior changes. So when we talk about one's health, we also consider your diet. If you have been a junkie, taking nothing but
chips,
the chips, the very fried chicken, the samosas and the chapatis, the Rolex, it will eventually show.
Yes.
You may not be fat, but it will affect your body. When you are young, you enjoy sweet things. And quite often a meal is not complete unless you have had a sweet. Like now, it is your birthday, we all give you chocolate. Now you know why I did not give you the milk chocolate, but I gave you the dark chocolate.
The dark chocolate.
Yeah.
And 70%.
Exactly. So because I don't want to contribute to your poor health, I want to support whatever you are supporting.
Yes,
so at 35, you are the sum total of all those choices. Your health, meaning in terms of were you immunized? Are you a mother? A mother of how many? When do you plan to be a mother? All those come together. Then mentally, then academically, then it is that when you put that together is what Lois is at this moment at the age of 35. Yeah.
Oh wow. So you'll realize that as we always teach about image, the part of your health is very important.
Yeah.
And it's a lifestyle. The little choices you make every day, how much water do I drink? Even skincare, your hair, your fingernails, your grooming, everything is very important. Remember, even if you want to keep up good personal image, with poor health, it's not going to be possible.
Even your shoes and even the way you sit. If you are the type of person seated on a chair like this, maybe you are in the office or whatever you are doing, but you are always sitting like this.
Cross-legged.
Trust me, 15, 20 years after crossing those legs every day, one day you will wake up with such a pain You'll wonder what happened. And what is interesting is that, of course, normally when you complain, they'll take you to the X-ray and they'll see nothing. But the pain will be there so much so that you cannot walk. If you are lucky to have an experienced doctor, they will ask you those questions. So do you normally, what do you do? How do you normally sit? And unfortunately, that is why, that posture, that is why quite a number of judges, many of them are my friends, end up with hip replacements, terrible backache, basically because they are always seated in their chairs.
PIDs.
Yes. Looking at all those people they are talking to, you sit like that for 40 years, and eventually in your old age, you pay the price.
It's going to catch up with you.
So, even when you are 20, 25, whatever, mind your posture at all times.
And you know, if you missed that lesson, we actually did it, let's say, in April. Please go find that video on hatchback tips. I did a video showing how to, you know, when you sit in office, when should you stand up and do some small exercises you can do within your office space. So please, don't wait to fall off your desk and people just find you there dead, collapsed, or even in the car as you're driving. Some of you do jobs where you're required to, you know, sit and drive for a long time. So it's very, very important. Don't forget we're talking about age and personal image, because it's my birthday and I decided to share Mama's knowledge to me with y'all. So enjoy the class. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave your comments. Let me know what you think about what we are sharing, but also the lessons you have picked from Mama as she's here. Mama, we have a third question. There is something that we call, let's say society has it that you're born, and you don't have a choice but to start going to school before you have an opinion. So we go to school. And then after that, you're somehow expected to have a family, get a job, you know, maybe together at the same time or not. But then the workplace or marketplace expects you to retire either at 60 or 65. So people that are in the middle age group, that's between 45 and 60, tend to have an anxiety. What have I done to prepare for my, you know, retirement? Or what am I going to do during retirement? And then that, some people, it affects their personal image very negatively during the last term of work and even after retirement. You are retired, Mama. In your retirement, you look amazing. You are stronger, you're happy, you know, you even have time for us right now at Lois Coaching Class. How did you plan, how did you manage to have this image after retirement, yet you even had a bigger one during, you know, your active years of service?
Yeah, like I said, we are the sum total of all our choices. Even when you are 30 or 20, you should be looking at that time when you are retired. But even before we talk about retirement, let us talk about now, during the pandemic. As you are growing up, one of the things everybody should do is have what I'll call like a pocket where you keep some friends. And it is nobody those friends you make when you are still young, you are a nobody, who will stick with you for a long, long time. So now that you are 35, the first thing you should look at before you look at your retirement are your networks. Because these days, your networks are your net worth.
Yes, that's very true.
If and when you retire and the pandemic comes and you don't have a friend who can say, come and buy, come rain, come shine, I'll go visit Lord. You are not going to get new friends to visit you now. If you don't have a friend whom you can call to just talk, you know all your friends are like, this is Victoria, Ogambachi, then you are in trouble. There is no way you are going to start manufacturing them after you turn 35.
Yes.
In fact, I have a friend who used to visit me, and I would invite her, because when my children were growing up, we used to have all sorts of parties, which is, I really have been looking at this situation and wondered, we normally did not celebrate birthdays at my home. I don't celebrate mine, my husband or my children. But we would have parties like if it is Easter, we would have, or if somebody is confirmed, then we have a party to which we would invite all sorts of children. But this particular friend never brought her children. And she would boast to me, you know, my children don't visit anybody. you know, I look after them so well. And when you said in Uganda, abana bange tebakyala. And I kept watching and wondering what is happening. Now, fast forward. The children are adults and they leave, they become Americans. So now and then they come here to visit. But they don't have anybody to visit because they did not visit anybody. And at 40, you cannot start looking for me to become friends with you.
Very true.
So they visit, and of course they complain about staying in their mother's house, but that is
the life she made for them.
Exactly. So when we look at retirement should be the bag that you carry from your early age. Like, for a reason I would never understand, my father used to take me to visit his family members. There are many whom my sisters, brothers never visited, but I know them. That helped me, especially when I was doing politics. I had a relative nearly everywhere. And when I had the means of travel, I would just ask, where did you say Aunt Lois stays? This and this place. So before she knows, I'm there. Oh my God. And I'm like, I'm so and so. I know we all know you. You are the minister and better. So now that I'm retired, all those are still my friends.
Yes.
And now and then I pick up the phone.
And
the other day I called one of them who is about 80 because she was older than me. And we spoke for like 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And she said, Victoria, how much is that going to cost? And I'm like, not as much as it would cost if I drove.
Yes.
Or when you try to plan to drive, I could see I made her day. So you want other people to make your day, make their day. There are a number of retirees who are really lonely because they have lost their spouses, or they have separated, their spouses have passed on. But because they have those networks, and because they are very well networked with the family, you can't even know that there is that gap in their lives. So whatever you do, always make sure you, every single day, add something onto your networks.
That's very, very important. And Mama, you mentioned something about parenting, that little story you gave. As we turn towards the end of this conversation, this class, there are parents who are young, let's say who had children from maybe the age of 25, let's take it to that low. How can you advise them to start building and grooming the images of their children so that they don't end up in a closed world internally, which is going to kill them eventually when they're older?
The best advice, because really I do not have all the answers to everything. I can only share what I did. When, for example, I was serving as a minister, I used to be very busy. So whenever I knew that I would be home maybe for 2-3 days, I would go pick up my mom and bring her to stay with my children. And of course, she would instill that discipline which she used to instill in me.
To them.
I have told you about the parties we used to hold.
Yeah.
For me, if it was a children's party, my children were in charge. So from the youngest age, they knew that nobody is going to wait on them. You want people to be there for you, be there for them.
Yeah.
It is your party. Choose how to make it. And when you have children and you have friends, it's okay for those children to visit the friends. If you, like these days, people are just at home and all that, but forget about the pandemic, which we hope will pass. It is okay for you to visit with those children, sit with that family and eat with that family, see how differently people
behave.
Exactly. And if you note any mistakes, when you get home, sort that out. I remember something happened a long time ago. We were visiting, and there was the children, there was a party, but it was a party for everybody. So the children were in a different room, and the adults were in another room. But I love children, so I was just saying hello and getting to know who is whose child and all that. But before I started saying my hellos, I overheard a conversation, and I just stopped and listened. This child was telling the other children that, let us beat him up. And the child, the host child, stood up, was a young boy of about 7 years, stood up and said, what, we beat him up? Here, we don't do those things. If you want to beat him, wait, when you get home, to your home, you do all the beating you want, but here, no, let us say. I loved that.
Wow.
I'm definitely sure that child learned something, but I felt so good because here I was with my children visiting a home where discipline has been instilled. And honestly, some of these things are very difficult to be instilled by you, the parent, because you may not have the opportunity for something to happen so that you
In
bring
your
it
presence,
out.
yes.
Yeah, and you don't want to be a parent who is always preaching.
Or a stick parent.
Exactly. But to conclude this issue of parenting, if you are a parent, never ever turn yourself into a helicopter. You know helicopter parenting, where you are always hovering over your child. The child has fallen. Oh,
You are a drone parent.
Yeah, exactly. You are a drone parent. The child goes to school and tells you that another child stole his bag, and you are already in the school saying a child stole my child's bag. Maybe your child just forgot, because I know this because it happened to one of the parents. The child forgot and left the bag under the mango tree where they were sitting waiting for the car. And when he got home, he said it was stolen. But the teacher who was on duty actually picked it up and took. They had a lost and found place. So when the mother came, how can you have children, thieves in a very expensive school like this? So what was stolen? My child's bag. Have you talked to so and so, because she's the one in charge of lost and found? No, the child said, no, let us start from there. She goes there, and this lady asks, what is it? So and so, my child's bag. What color is it? This color. And indeed, the bag was there. You can imagine. So don't turn yourself into a helicopter or drone parent. Let this child grow. Talk through it. Because with a helicopter, it doesn't talk. You just like, what happened here? So let your child grow. Be present. Be watchful. But give him her freedom to think, ask questions, and grow.
Now, you do not know where else to get such knowledge and information, either as a parent or aspiring parent or even grandparent, Because like Mama said, her mother impacted her children so much, and Mama's work was always away. She happened to work with the UN and the World Food Program, which kept, throwing her in different parts of the world. And mostly the children were, staying at home. But it was very, very good that her mom had to be there to take care of the children. The image of a child is very, very important for you to build from a very tender age. When mothers are pregnant, they usually talk to the children.
Yep.
And that is stored in the subconscious of the child. Some of you think it's superstitious or it doesn't work. It actually works.
It works.
The fetus listens, the baby listens. So when the baby is born, you keep talking to them, sit properly as you eat. So when it's putting up the leg, sometimes the breast milk is too nice. The baby puts up the leg, you bring it back and say, sit properly. Or they're circling and don't talk while eating, So they listen to you, and it's stored in their subconscious. So when this child grows up, you don't have to battle with them.
No.
Sit like this, do this. They already have it within them. So parents, let's take a responsibility to be the best that we can be in building and grooming the personal images of our children. And any relative where you have kids growing, being raised rather. When you are an uncle and aunt, even I am an aunt to so many nieces and nephews, and every time I have with them, believe me, I rub my expertise on them, but I try to be very parental. Mama, I cannot say how much it's good to have you, but I cannot let you go without you telling the students of life at least the 5 principles that have guided you from, your adult life, where you chose that now this is Victoria, this is what she does, this is who she is. Just leave us with those so that we also learn to walk with them.
I don't know if there are 5, but I'll share what I can remember.
Okay.
First and foremost, I really and honestly love myself. I like myself the way I am. That is why you see my hair is not dyed. I'm not bleached. I'm comfortable with who I am. For me, that's very important.
Yes.
Secondly, because of that, I never ever compare myself with anybody else. Not in my family, not in my school, or in my job. I was just thinking about the days when we were in school. There were girls who were so clever that they would get like 95 in mathematics, 95 in physics, 95 in... I would get my 80s and 70s, and I was really very content with that, because really growing up, I loved other things other than academics. Like I loved playing. For me, until now, I enjoy playing even with children who don't go to school. P1, P2, I enjoy playing with them. So when I was at school, I enjoyed playing. Then too, I enjoyed debating. So some of that took away a bit of time from my academic studies, but I wasn't comparing myself to anybody, because I knew I was me and I was me. So one, I love who I am. Two, I don't compare myself to anybody else. Three, I have a belief, which I think is right, that whatever I do, God is seeing. For me, so at any one time, I go out of my way to do the right thing, irrespective of who is looking or who is not looking. Basically, because through experience, I came to realize that if I know that something is wrong and I do it anyway, my punishment comes immediately. For me, there's no waiting for help. Let's say one time I was in a taxi, long time ago, and I told my mom, my auntie, I was staying with my auntie, and I told her that some lie, I was going to meet my boyfriend, but I told her a lie, and it was raining. So I go to the roadside with my umbrella, get into the taxi, and get to, because during our days, our meetings were at the post office. So I get out at post office only to remember that I have forgotten my umbrella. Punishment for telling a lie. So for me, it is immediate. God is like, you told that. Now,
enjoy the rain.
Enjoy the rain. So that is three. Do the right thing at all times, irrespective of who is watching. Then four, being empathetic. You know, sometimes it gets me into trouble. Like when and if you came to me complaining, can you believe so and so has done this? I know this normally happens with my friends who are married and they are complaining about their spouses. In fact, this particular one had actually divorced from this spouse, and she was telling me how horrible he was and all that. So I said two things. First of all, at one time, you loved him. I attended the wedding, remember? Secondly, I'm definitely sure he has a story which I wish I could hear. How can you say that? I was just being empathetic, trying to understand both her and so be nice. Try to understand. I always try to understand other people's positions, and that does not make me weak. Perhaps sometimes when I look at a situation and I keep quiet without making a comment, some people would say, how come you haven't said anything there? And I'm like, there was nothing to say. The person either the person is already suffering, or the person already knows the answer, only is not saying. So being empathetic really takes you places. Then finally, when and if I meet somebody, I enjoy asking questions rather than telling them about me, because you don't learn anything when you are the one, maybe quite often when I call, when I arrive, I'm like, I'm Victoria, and the person will say, I know you. Now, after they have said, I know you,
what is there to say?
Exactly. So I give them that time, and I ask, so can I know more about you, so on and so forth. There are questions I don't ask, by the way. For me, coming from the United Tribes of Uganda in Jinja, I don't normally ask people where they are from, because it doesn't tell me anything. Doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't add anything.
Value.
So now and then somebody will eventually, there was a certain young man who was a teacher, and after being my friend for like 2 years, he saw me on television speaking Lusoga, and he said, hey, he called me. He said, do you mean you are Msoga?
Hola, no. I tell you, the confusing thing, Mama, is your second name is Sekitoleko, and it's typical Buganda.
Yeah, I know. So for me, it doesn't matter. I like you as a person, so I normally don't go into those questions, because what do I gain from that type of information? So I think those are 5 of the several which I practice, but they really lead me, and at the end of the day, because it is every day, you have these encounters, you live your life, I go to bed and sleep very well.
Knowing that you are at peace with man
exactly.
and with God.
Exactly.
Mama has said that her fourth principle is to let not your life be about you, and I always share that in the class. Like today, should have been about me. I would have recorded this class telling them, you know, I was born here, this is how I've gone through my life. But no, I decided to ask questions for us to learn, so that this day, however much it would have been about Loy, it's actually not about Loy, it's about Mama. We're celebrating her, and also, you know, the students of life learning more. So I did not even give you the story of how I met Mama. I met Mama between 2017 and 2018. And before a couple of meetings, I already, within me, you know, adopted her to be my mama. But then, thank God, she said it. I have adopted you to be my daughter. So it was such a nice feeling to know that I am being adopted by an amazing woman that I can look up to and ask questions and, you know, anytime. But Mama, within our meetings, made a statement and said, I can never forget that statement. I am retired, but I am not tired.
Yeah.
Mama is not tired indeed. This book is available. During her retirement, she sat down and wrote. She did not tell you, yes, she loves to play, but let me tell you, agriculture is in her bloodstream. It is what flows through her veins, it's what she breathes, it's who she is, and that is mostly the work that she's doing during retirement. So this book is called The Farmer's Daughter. It's a beautiful book, like you can see, and she likes to call it the starter for agriculture. So if you are an agripreneur, you want to pick up this book. It has everything about how to start your small little farm, even a medium scale and large scale. Where do you export what? Which countries are interested in which products from Uganda? You know, and even value addition. Some of you just don't want to do the farming, but you want to buy from a farmer and then probably make better sun dry or, you know, solar dry, package very nicely, and then sell out. So it is an amazing book. It's available in Aristoc, and it's only for 50,000. You know, yeah, it's only for 50,000, and then you can also order for it on Amazon. Look forward to this book, but her autobiography is coming. Well, we have more of the life lessons if you've enjoyed them. So before I conclude the class, I'll just love for Mama to say goodbye to us, and then I will conclude the class.
Nice meeting you, class. And to tell you the truth, you are lucky. Because most of us growing up could have done with some of these lessons. But hey, it is never too late to learn. I'm still learning. I wish you the best.
Thank you so much, Mama, for being here and celebrating my birthday with me.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Mom. So now we're getting into our cake cutting. Who is excited? I know you won't be able to taste it, but you can see it looks really nice. Mama walked in here and said, huh, is that real cake? It looks like a dummy. Yeah. Yes, guys, it's real cake. So let's dive into cutting the real cake. Then I have a little gift for Mama, which you're all going to see in a very short while. See you at the cake.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, wow. Let me cut in between so that you can see how it looks like. I want to give Mama a slice of the cake.
Wow.
I wonder how.
Wow.
You guys, the cake is so pretty. It looks really nice. I'm trying to dig inside
Can't wait.
to taste it, yeah?
Yeah.
Mama, this one which I'm going to give you is the butterscotch. The butterscotch. Ooh. Guys, omukolo gugenda mu maaso bannange aba coaching class. Mama, mugideko ka piece.
This is pumpkin.
This is butterscotch, actually.
Yeah.
And Mama, allow me the honors of feeding you.
Just keep your distance.
I am. Nice.
Superb.
Superb. Yes. So in here we have different flavors. I don't have an opportunity to turn around, but we'll take some pictures for you. So, Mama, before you go, I have a gift for you.
Thank you.
Stand right there. It's coming.
Pleasure. Wow.
Mama, this is
It's
to appreciate
lovely.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
How I wish I could give you a hug.
I know, but I
Happy
know how you
birthday.
feel. Thank you, Mama.
And enjoy that day.
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow and next year, Tomorrow is another day.
Yes.
There's another day.
Yes.
May both be better
Amen.
than that.
Thank you so much, Mama. Thank you. So, class, this has been the event. Let us enjoy the remainder of our cake. Thank you so much for being in class. Don't forget to like the channel, the video rather, subscribe to the channel, and that notification bell. Join the class on Facebook as well, Always Coaching Class. And don't forget to follow me. You can follow Mama on her Facebook page, Victoria Sekitoleko. She always posts amazing, amazing knowledge. And let us know what you think about the subject. Till next week, cheers and bye.
Yes. Bye.